All right, we got 3 people in the room. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. Let a few more people jump in. All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Vince Aguirre. I'm president and founder of Distinct Web Design, joined here by a variety of friends and team members from around the world. I'm really excited to have you all here and joining us. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Chicago, found my way to Indiana through a Posse scholarship, went to DePaul University. Been doing web design for quite a few years now, specifically under Distinct Web Design for about 3 years. And we have a wide variety of clients that I'm sure Andrew might touch on. Specifically with me, I'm also a certified airman for commercial drone flight, and a Google Apps administrator certified through Google. 2 fun facts. But we'll just kind of go through the line from here. I'll let Andrew go next, and he can pop on and introduce the next person. But thanks for joining us again, and we're really excited to have you here.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Smith. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've been working with Distinct Web Design for about almost 2 years now. Previously coming from Alumni Engagements and Fundraising at DePaul University. I'm the project manager for the company, and I help do a lot of client relations out on the field, getting sales, and just really trying to build the brand. So I'm excited to talk about the websites that we have a few examples of, and to get into those. I'll pass over to our lead developer, Ayon, out of Singapore.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayon and I'm from Singapore. I'm one of the web developers for Distinct Web Design. I've been with them for quite some time now, and I've been designing websites from them right here from Singapore. That's pretty much it. So I'll pass to Jacob.
Hey, I'm Jacob. I'm in Seattle, so heading up the other half of the U.S. over here. I'm actually pretty new to working with this team right now, but I specialize in advertising and demand generation marketing strategy. So I help get you the traffic and customers as soon as these guys create you an awesome website. So that's my quick spiel. Carl, on to you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Carl Hill Jr. I do not work with Distinct Web Design. We have done several projects together, and we have traveled to Thailand together very recently. But I am a graduate of DePaul University from 2010. I graduated and I went to Taiwan. I've lived here for 7 years as a manager and a head teacher at a private school in Danshui, Taiwan. I'm also the co-founder of CP Travels, a full service travel consultant company. We have a website that we've been running for about 3.5 years now. We plan trips for all over the world, United States, particularly, we work with clients particularly in the United States, helping them go abroad. And we also work with a lot of clients out here in Taiwan, sending them in places all over the world as well. And I co-founded the company with Patrick Springer, who I'll pass it to now.
Hey everybody, I'm Patrick. Carl has pretty much filled you all in on CP Travels, but I am our company's co-founder and the web designer. So I'm here to kind of offer as much insight as I can on founding a company that we founded, towards of international travel, especially for your websites, and some of the issues that we face with building our website and trying to appeal to a multilingual clientele.
We have quite a few people who've joined already, and I want to give you guys first preference if you have any questions or if you want to submit your website. Otherwise, what we've already done is we have a list of people who have registered, and we cherry-picked your websites to go from there. So if I don't see any questions coming through, we'll go ahead and jump into some of the people who are registered, including this one that I have up on my screen right now. Also, before we go any further, Andrew's always really humble about himself. He's also an owner of Distinct Web Design, not just a project manager. So he does a lot of good work outside of project managing, and really couldn't do this without him. All right, so I don't see any specific questions coming in yet, so don't be shy. Go ahead. You should be able to submit them. Hopefully, it's our first time using this software, so maybe you can't. But yeah, so I want to pull this up first and maybe jump right in to Ayon or Andrew to talk about some things that they like, dislike, maybe what they first noticed, and how they would want to improve this. Then they can kind of pass it around, and anyone can jump in. Feel free.
Okay, awesome. I'll jump in, Ayon, if you don't mind. One of the first things that I noticed on this page, the J.M. Thompson Insurance is a lot of the white space on the sides. I think that could be a great avenue to provide maybe a quick contact form or to organize the columns on a sidelet to the left to fill, not necessarily just fill for the sake of fill, but it gives a nicer visual. I also felt that it did have everything I needed, was presentable. Oh, you need auto insurance, home insurance, commercial, and health. This is what we do. The number is right available on the home page. There was an email. So from a reference point of information, I think this site homepage, landing page did a great job. But I think there's a lot of white space that can be more developed. Ayon, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's a good website. From what I see, that I can see all the information. Basically, whatever. As soon as I visit the website, I can see whatever I need to know. The contact information is right there. It's big, and then the Facebook icon. Yeah, social networking, and then there's the menu. But as Andrew mentioned, there's a lot of white space, especially for the logo. As you can see, the backdrop of the header, it's like gray, and then there's white space, so that is a little less appealing. And then yeah, pretty much it's a good website, but there's a lot of improvement that can be made. From what I see, it's even though it does not have a modern look. As in, this website looks like it was built in the 2010 at that area. So I guess that's it. So Vincent, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
If you don't mind, Vince, I jump in, back in.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Just also on the home page, I would have, if we built this site, I would have, you guys see at the bottom the quotes and the life insurance quotes. At first, I thought those were potentially, I don't know, maybe spam links. It didn't look like it belonged with the site. But once you click on them, they take you to some external portals that they're using. So I would have
I
told
see what you're saying.
I would have preferred to move that up, maybe put a nice header above it to let a customer know that this is us, we're affiliated with this, and also that this is a great way for you to find out if you can afford it. Getting a quote is pretty important, so you definitely probably want to move that up to make it more pronounced. But yeah, over to you, Vince.
Yeah,
Sure.
I did notice that it looked like someone like at first when I saw that I thought it was Google advertising because I couldn't really
Exactly.
differentiate it. Yeah, I couldn't really differentiate it. So
Absolutely. So it looks like we do have a comment saying it was designed last year. Okay. So comments are working. I'm doing a live stream on Facebook if anyone wants to submit comments there. Carl or Patrick, from if you were going to the site, what would be your first impression as a user, not necessarily from a technical standpoint?
Well, I kind of agree with Ayon. I see that it was created just last year, but in my opinion, it does look a bit dated. It doesn't look like it's a modern website. Same thing with the logos that you have up there. Give me 1 second. Same thing with the logo. I do think that the logo kind of takes up a bit of space and does a lot of white space. Visually, I think it's a lot of work, but in terms of actually using it for services, it puts all the important information right there in the front. It looks easily accessible, at least in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Carl, if you ain't got nothing, I got a couple of Ginsu items.
Okay, sure. Go right ahead, Andrew. Thank you.
And please also let us be forthright in saying this is not an attempt to belittle or to be demonstrative. This is just us trying to show you what would be the best ways, in our opinions, in our experience, to take your website to the next level. So please please, hopefully we're not offending anyone or feeling
Absolutely.
way. We are just
and on top of that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
On top of that, we could pick apart each of our own websites just as much as any website we might talk about today. Websites can always be improved. After you build it, they're outdated in weeks, especially if you're not constantly on it. So like Andrew said, we're not belittling any company, any organization. There's just always room for improvement, and that's what we're here to offer today. Yeah, and I apologize. I'm trying to check out this site on mobile while we're talking. So I apologize if you see all the developer stuff popping up.
Yeah, I just noticed that it's not mobile actually. It's a static website. It's not responsive either. So from what I see,
expand on that a little bit, Ayon.
Okay, mobile. Okay, websites these days, right, are most of the users who browse are like more than 50% are coming from mobiles. Now Google and other search engines, they give priority to mobile sites. So when your site is responsive and mobile, it could rank higher in the search engines. So that's one plus point. So when your site is not mobile, that's a bit of a problem. So that is one of the things that you should focus on. So even though this site was built last year, mobile has been there for some time now, at least 2 to 3 years. So making your site mobile responsive is one of the key features of design.
Absolutely, very important. If not necessary. I mean, at this point, it is necessary because Google will penalize you for not having a mobile-ready website.
Mm-hmm.
One thing
sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
Kind of thing that on the contact page, I'm a big believer in having either quick contact forms, which is email number, submit, a quick message and get that email to you. From a client perspective, when that's emailed to you, you have that stored and you can always refer to it. Just in the ease of access nowadays, if I have to call and I'm maybe not able to call within the appropriate time from 8 to 5 as the business hours say, if I shoot you an email and then the organization at JM Thompson are able to follow up with me, that customer service right there just goes a little further. So that's an opportunity for one to keep information more organized, and then also for that customer service experience to be enhanced. But yeah.
Awesome.
Pat, you were saying something?
Oh no, I was just going to go back to the constant need to update your website, like Vince was saying. We had to recently overhaul our entire website just because it was completely dated, and we had just done that maybe like December, and we were already like, no, this looks dated. We need to do it again. But yeah, everything is changing, so you constantly need to update it, and there's always a way that you can add something and improve on it.
Absolutely. Anyone else have anything to offer? Also, can you guys check the chat and see if you see anything coming in? My chat might be messed up. I just lost some messages. So do you guys see anything else coming in?
No, nothing so far.
Okay.
Also, I'd probably say last thing on this type of insurance experiences, maybe a couple testimonials. Insurance is essentially trusting that they're going to take care of you and your needs. It would be very comforting to see a couple testimonials about we had such and such damage and JM Thompson, we can work with them and we were able to, and they helped us out through such and such. So I think testimonials are a great value for businesses in general, but especially in, type of businesses like insurance. So that's my last thing. Sorry.
Absolutely. And one more thing from me. One thing I noticed right away on a website is if their pictures look authentic. And maybe it's because I'm in this realm and I know it more personally, but I think a lot of people can tell when you come on this photo right here, it looks like it's probably where you're located. I'm going to assume that's really where you are. But the other photos that are coming up, I'm not confident that's you, and I'd love to see who you are.
Looks more like stock photos.
Yeah, it looks like a stock photo, which is fine. Most people use them, but I think there's a much stronger impact and connection when I come on. I see you shaking someone's hand. It's obvious. Maybe the photo might be not as high of quality as these are, but to me, it makes a big difference seeing someone I can relate to. just so everyone who came in late, we just had a bunch of people come in. I'm hoping off of the Facebook invite. But if you're seeing this, feel free to submit any comments, questions, or concerns you might have about your own website, and we'd love to touch on them. But we are going through a list if people not submit their own. But we'd love to have specific questions from you all. So let's jump on. I see someone who's in here but did not submit theirs, so I'm going to put them on the spot. Let me apologize. I'm using two screens, and it's...
I just, there's one comment that came in.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. So actually, sorry.
No, thank you. Let me grab that.
He said that he thought that the website would be mobile ready, or he was told that it would be mobile ready.
Oh, that's the one we just went over?
Jam Thompson.
That's unfortunate. I'm actually using my cell phone to live stream, but Ayon, did you confirm that it's not even on a mobile device?
All right.
I'm guessing it might have a mobile site.
All right. I just checked on this on my mobile, and then it seems to be that it's mobile ready. But the fact that when I open it on my desktop and I reduce the screen size and it did not change, so that's a bit of a point to worry about. As you can see, it is mobile ready, but it should.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it on my phone, but
yeah, it might be using one of those plugins or mobile sites that just adjust the website for mobile phones only. So it's not responsive, which is what Google really cares about. It just has a mobile site, which isn't as good, but I guess it gets the job done from a user perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But that could cause some issues.
Actually, I think it looks better on mobile.
Really?
It looks, it's missing the Facebook icon. The words are a bit small on the mobile website, so like the things don't really jump out at you immediately. And the get quotes is at the bottom of the mobile site, which looks really, really good. But again, just from looking at it, it doesn't really look like something that it looks like it's an ad and like not an actual part of the website would be my feedback for the mobile site. Oh,
interesting.
And
that might be something they can.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said that might be something they can fix with an authentic photo instead of that stock photo.
Mm-hmm.
That very clearly a stock photo. But by having a photo of you and a customer, or maybe just the team, that might look a little more authentic.
Just a note for folks listening: if you're ever curious if a site's mobile ready, you can go to search.google.com. No, I lied. That's the wrong URL. Yeah, search.google.com. I'll actually paste it in the chat, and that you can check any site anytime, and it will tell you if it's mobile ready, mobile friendly. As Google says. I'll grab that now and put it in the chat for you guys.
So do you guys want to do a really quick overview of like what the difference is between like mobile ready versus mobile responsive might be?
And that sounds like a perfect answer for you.
Well, actually, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just that people use different terms, I believe. It depends on where you're coming from. So mobile ready and mobile responsive is basically, it's almost the same term. It's just that the way you look at the website, and then like, how do I say it? It's just that when we were looking at the website, right, on the desktop, right, and when I reduced the size, it just didn't change to the mobile version. It basically was like the site, it just even though we reduced the size of the browser, the size of the website just remained the same. When it comes to this term, it pretty much has the similar terms.
Yeah.
I'm not really
I would say you
sure
could differentiate off of, this site is mobile ready, as in it's kind of a different site on mobile, whereas a mobile responsive site, it's the same website, it just adjusts responsively to your screen size. So a lot of newspapers, I feel still, especially smaller newspapers, use like an m.newyorktimes.com. I don't think New York Times actually does that, but there's an M in front of it. High schools seem to do it a lot too. So it's just a completely different site on mobile, which fits the screen, but isn't the same website. So some people might differentiate it that way as well. Real quick question for presenters. When I switched from screen share, I lost contact with everyone. Did everyone else lose that as well, or was it just me?
I think it was just you.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure I'm not cutting everyone off. All right, let me go back to screen share and we'll go to the next one, which is a local. And I have it already up there. This is a new site. I know that for a fact, which I think it's a really good site. But I was wondering what you guys, if there's anything you guys would approach differently to the site. If it'll load here. I'll let you all pull it up as well. And if you're viewing at home, feel free to view it as well if you don't want to stare from my screen. But maybe Jacob, if you want to jump in and anything that comes to mind, maybe from a perspective, if you were coming off of a Facebook post to this page, maybe they just posted something that interests you and you came. I don't think they, as an organization, would do much marketing on Facebook. It's a government organization, really more informational, not trying to find clients necessarily. But from an informational standpoint, if you came here, what you'd be looking for, and if you can find it.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the site right now really quick.
Sure.
Well, while it's doing that, I can go off of the screen share here really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, initially, I really like that it's very clearly a modern site. A lot of government sites look like they're very dated. So the first thing that I see is like, oh, this is clearly an interface that I'm used to, something that I like. I think I also really like that the menu bar is off on the side on this one, and clearly is staying in the same place, so I can get to whatever pages that I would be looking for. Like maybe, let's say, maybe we were talking about an event on Facebook, and that's what I clicked through for. I can see that there's the calendar link right there on the side and find the calendar really easily, as well as all the different programs, the conservation programs, education programs. So I like the navigation. Unfortunately, it's not pulling up on my side right now. It's slow internet connection with the live stream going.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, that's kind of like the initial thoughts that I'm thinking so far.
Sure.
About it's clear what their goals are. They want you to learn about conservation in Putnam County. They can provide education, and if you're interested, contact us. And so that's all right there on the home page. I like the icons that they use for soil, water, and trees. And so it's very clear, their mission. And then there's a clear statement of line right there. So from a landing page perspective, I understand, in my opinion, what their goals are and then what I can do now that I've come to the website.
Sure. Anyone else have some feedback on this?
Actually, I've been having some trouble. I've tried to pull this up on the mobile, but I'm getting this error. Same error as you can see. Too. Yeah, I was trying to see if it was mobile responsive as well. Mobile ready, actually.
Huh. Did we just drive too much traffic to it?
Probably.
Sorry if we just took your site down from the amount of traffic. We have quite a few people viewing it, but it shouldn't be enough. It should not be enough to take down the site. I promise you that. So talk to your host if we did.
The front page looks really nice, though.
It really seems like it's just a contact us link.
Interesting.
Well, no, actually, all the other links too.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we did.
So I got that same error the first time I tried putting it in. And then when I added the www to the beginning, then it came through just fine. So that might be it if you're just typing in the root URL. Okay.
Interesting. Well, all right. Yeah. Overall, I do think this is a really solid site. It gets information across pretty clearly. I don't remember. I did look at it before. I don't remember if the blog has content, but blogging is definitely important to keep up and drive traffic to your site. So I'd highly recommend keeping that as active as possible.
Yeah, the blog does
It looks
have
like
content. If you go
okay,
to the
good.
very bottom, they have the recent posts that they publish. It doesn't look like they've added anything since March of last year,
Okay.
but they do have a blog with content on there.
Okay. Oh, look, it looks like he commented. He said it does, but it's old.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, that's your new job. You got to get on there and start posting.
Yeah, I
We
do
do,
think the
shameless
website.
plug.
Yeah.
We do have content writers on our team. If you need some content written, let us know. We're here to help. No hard sells though, just soft sells. So contact us if you want that.
I
One
do
thing I would
recommend
like people.
it's a government website, but again, it looks very, very modern. Most of them are usually old and pretty outdated, but this one looks really nice. It's very inviting. Like I want to click on this stuff. I want to find out more
Absolutely.
about soil conservation.
Absolutely.
One thing I want folks to realize or point out that one of the reasons we like this site or we're excited or feel it's modern, it is not text heavy. There are pictures with relevant pictures that make you understand what the goals are, and there's not a bunch of information to read. It's a couple of sentences and you know exactly what's happening. Many times we see clients or just experience thinking that providing more information is the better route, but in many cases, having less text and more relevant content is what's most vital for someone coming to your website, in my opinion, and then also just what we see.
I'll jump in
Absolutely.
again really quick from the advertising perspective. A really good lesson here for any site is that when I first land on this page, I can see my why. Why do I care? And you have right up front who you are and what you do. And that's something that really any website should have. It's called above the fold. So if you imagine a paper newspaper, anything that was on the top half of that page is what you see immediately when you pick up the newspaper. And the same thing applies to websites. So whatever you see without having to scroll at all, that should tell me who you are and why I should care. And in this case, it does that.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And that definitely applies to all sites. You definitely want to get your message across as quickly as possible. All right, let me pop over to another one, unless no one's submitting them right now. Don't be shy. I know there's people watching. We can see you. Feel free to submit them. All right, so this is another person who registered. I'm not sure actually if they're in or not right now, but we did pull their site to view. So one thing I got to say, although it's not the most exciting picture, I'm confident that picture is your building, and I do enjoy seeing that. And it looks like as you come down, these are definitely photos that I would assume you took. They look authentic, which I really appreciate that as a user. It really makes me feel like I can engage directly with the brand. But as I play around on this site, I don't think I saw this one ahead of time, so I'll let someone else jump in while I click around and see what's going on.
I perused it. I thought, like you said, from a photo base, it looked like those are their plant. It looked like it is all their equipment. All the pictures are real. It's not stock photos. So for that standpoint, I really, really appreciated that. I don't know too much about this field of machining, but I felt that I learned and was aware and knew what they had or didn't have as I perused the website. But going back to, I think the first website we looked at, there's a lot of white space on the sides that can be used to promote the business better. Either it's a quick contact form or like we just saw on the previous website, a sidelet with the machining, fabrication, and rigging categories, and then having a more pronounced picture up top. I do like that there's an about us on the homepage, but I necessarily wouldn't want to read all that. If I would choose to, then there should be an about us page. I like the idea of the worldwide experience icon, but I would definitely want that honed down, as I can't necessarily tell where these places exactly are. I just see general areas. So I think having a more defined location or defined visual would be a great start. I'll let someone else dig in.
Yeah,
Before someone else jumps in.
I was going back to that worldwide experience thing, just like Andrew was saying. I mean, since Carl and I, since we do a lot of travel, I could look at this. I could see where all the places are, but I wish it had some kind of interactive element to it. Like if I hovered over the area that you have down here in Chile or Argentina or Brazil, then I would want something to like kind of pop up and say, "This is a picture of our store," or "This is the contact," or something that we do over here. I just think that would add an extra element to the website that would really take it to another level. But the same with the white space on the sides. I think that's a really good place to add more information about it, or just expand everything just so that the page is more full.
Absolutely. And on top of that, one thing I was playing around with while Andrew was talking, you might have noticed if you're watching, the site is not responsive, which you could tell when for some reason, my computer's slowing down right now, but when I minimized the page, it was not adapting to, I was trying to touch it on my screen share instead of on the actual page. When I minimized the page, it was not adapting to the size of my screen. So you can see what's happening here. So I imagine the white space issue might be better depending on what size screen you're on. And if it was responsive, it would be better overall. But I do agree with Patrick about it would be nice to have some kind of, even if it wasn't directly engageable, some maybe talk about the different countries or have photos of each country, the work you've done. Even if it's not an interactive map, something along those lines. Because I definitely would like to know more about that. It's really interesting to me. But someone else wants to have some feedback.
It raises the cool factor. Sometimes, we're very business minded in the website, but from a client perspective, like Patrick pointed out, if I say, "Ooh, you guys worked in Argentina and Chile and all around the United States and overseas," and I have a point of reference and I see that visual in terms, maybe it's a hoverable location, maybe it's Google Maps, something, it's like Vince said, it doesn't have to necessarily be an interactive, full-blown map, which would be something, but just raising the cool factor on your site gets people more engaged onto your site and to you as a business. So I think that'd be something to definitely think about.
Absolutely.
My guess is that the map is probably all of the different job locations that they've had or clients that they've had around the world. So a kind of cool way to do that might be so Google lets you make your own custom maps and drop pins for whatever things are interesting in. So you might do a Google map and drop a pin at each of these locations, and it'll let you fill in information, like maybe it was a specific business or just some notes. You could put little pins with all of that information, and then that will be an embeddable map that you could put on here that people could actually scroll around, click on that, get information. That might be kind of a fun way to do that.
That's actually a good idea. Carl, write that down. Put it on our website.
All right, we're expecting to see that on CP Travels by the end of the month.
All right.
So another thing to think of for all of these websites is just what's the purpose of the website, and do you use it as just kind of an online business card, or is it actually designed to try and drive more business? My guess is that for most businesses, they use it more kind of like an online business card, in which case just having the information there is probably enough. If I'm guessing that these guys are probably a very much relationship-based service or a kind of just-in-time service. Like somebody just had something break, they do a really quick Google search just to see who's around that can handle that. In which case, having that kind of information up front would be a lot more important. For other people, like real estate agents, insurance, like in that earlier example, things like that, where people are actually coming through to try and compare your product to other products that it might have. It'll change the information that you want to really feature on the website, just to make sure that for whatever that purpose is being fulfilled, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I'd actually like to give a compliment. They have a contact under Contact Us. They have a quick contact form, name, company, email, message, and they also provide their mailing address for contact information. So I think those little things go a long way in terms of providing customers with information that's relevant and necessary to them and for organizations. So kudos on that.
Absolutely. And I love the phone numbers up top. I think someone mentioned that earlier. Immediately you can find that. One thing would be nice if your header scrolled down with the page. So you could have the contact us, so you could have the phone number throughout the page. Because if I'm down pretty far on the homepage, I'm looking at the map, you'd be surprised how lazy people can be. Whereas, it's going to take 10 seconds maximum to get to the top of the page, but not everyone's going to wait that long scrolling. So if you're right here, like, oh, worldwide experience, this is great. And then you get distracted, and that happens. So definitely the easier you can make it for someone to contact you, but having that follow them down the page, the more likely you are to get that contact information.
Yeah, multiple calls to action. So in this case, that might just be something like having this phone number up top, and then again down at the bottom under the map, maybe say, if you're interested about our capabilities, contact us here, and have a link or a phone number, something like that. Kind of a good rule of thumb is something at the top, something at the bottom, and something in the middle if it's a longer page.
Absolutely. I do see a question come in. Before we answer that, I want to say, after this site, we'll jump into the Brownsburg website. I'm pretty sure he's viewing live right now. I want to make sure we get to that for him, so stick around. But Jacob, if you want to answer that question, and I actually have an opinion too. Hopefully we'll have the same opinion, but if not, that's fine.
Sure. So we had Shane ask, if you're just using your site as an online business card, could you just get by with a Facebook page? I would be hesitant to go with just a Facebook page. So many people, the very first thing that they're going to do when they're searching for a local service is jump into Google and just type in, whatever, engineering near me, plumber near me, something like that. And a Facebook page may or may not show up in those results, but a website absolutely will. Now, if you just want it to be a static website that doesn't change a whole lot, just kind of has the quick and dirty information to contact you, that's fine. I would say that if you wanted to go that route, make sure to put something on it to invite people over to that Facebook page. So maybe say, here's all of the information, here's what I do, all of that good local search engine optimization stuff, so you show up in search results, but then have an invitation say, hey, I'm really active on my Facebook page. We'd love to talk to you over there. Here's the link. I think that's probably the route that I would go if you want to really focus on the Facebook page more.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would agree with that. I'd say especially your website becomes your platform that you can control. Facebook gives you a lot of options that you could use as a business card type of environment. But having your own site, you can really do a lot of different things with that, as far as capturing people who are visiting your site to grab their email address for any events you might be having. It's a lot harder to do that on Facebook, whereas on a website, you can have a pop-up that comes up immediately and says, hey, give us your email, or different tracking features and analytics you can do on a website that you can't necessarily do on Facebook. If a business is just starting off, maybe you can get by with Facebook just to start. But to really engage your audience, I think you should have your platform, especially for blog posting and whatnot. And to make sure you're up in Google searches, having Google linked with your website. When people type you in, they can find out where your office is, assuming you want them to know where your office is. But yeah.
I think it also depends on the industry. A really good example of where a Facebook page would be more valuable than the website would be local service businesses, in the sense of like a real estate agent, because there's not going to be a whole lot changing on their website. They can use it a lot. I've seen some really excellent real estate websites where people are using their blog, having all kinds of cool downloadable content. But for the majority of real estate agents, they'll have just their basic website that was provided by the brokerage with a quick property search. And then they'll be really, really active on their Facebook page to engage their community that way. And then just drive people back to the website for specific property listings. And you can kind of adjust it either way. But that would be, I think, a good example of when a Facebook page might be more valuable, but you still want to have something there for Google to find.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And even beyond the agency's page, there's a lot you can do. I'm actually speaking to a realtor right now about showing their own listings on their site and helping boost people going directly to their site versus relying on the agency to do all that hard work for you.
So
Looks like Shane.
Yeah, it's just hard for him right now as a one-man office trying to get things posted to website, Facebook, Twitter, and it's a little bit overwhelming. Absolutely, and I understand. It's a lot of things. So in that case, I might actually say pick one or two of the channels and just go all in on those, and don't worry about being spread too thin. It's a lot worse to have 5 different social media networks and have half of them be inactive or dead, and only a couple that are live, than to just have those couple and make sure that they are active a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you,
I'd be interested.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you have right now website, Facebook, and Twitter, I might pick. I am biased against Twitter. I don't really like it as a platform, but it works for some people and it works for some industries. But I might just say, focus on build content for the websites and then push it out through Facebook to build your community there, and then just have 2 channels rather than several different channels. And maybe one thing that I really, really do love Twitter for is for customer service. So maybe having it be that be your customer service channel, and then you don't have to work on it too hard. And if people come find the Twitter channel and they're like, it's kind of dead, but they're clearly using it to answer questions, then it won't come off as a negative, as opposed to if it's trying to be a networking channel but kind of empty, then people might be like, I don't know, they haven't posted in a month. Are they still around? It's kind of a contextual sort of thing of which channel works in the right situations. And as a business owner, you got to focus on where to expend your energy in the most beneficial channels.
Yeah. I want to segue. I want to ask Carl and Patrick for their opinion. Before that, on the Twitter comment, if your target audience is a local audience and you have less than 50,000 people in that audience, don't use Twitter. Use Facebook. You're going to hit so many more people. If you have a national base or a global base, I think Twitter's worth it. Maybe even a statewide base, depending on your state. But you have the more bang for your buck for Facebook, and people, you're going to have a wider range of ages using it. So we're a pretty technical company. I was about to actually mention what Shane's bringing up right now. We're a pretty technical company, so we have a lot of integrations. I don't know necessarily if Carl and Patrick do. They're pretty technical too, so maybe they do. But when we post a blog post on our website, it can push out to our Facebook, it can push out to our Google, to our LinkedIn. So we try to kill a lot of birds with one stone by having everything just push out. And when we get messages on any platform, it all comes into one support platform that we use, which helps us, easily use these different platforms without overbearing ourselves. But what do you guys do for CP Travel? Do you have any tricks like that, or what you focus on?
Yeah, actually, we're actually spread out across Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But it's just because of the clientele that we reach. I do a lot on Twitter. I have a fairly decent following, so I'm able to talk to a lot of people. But Carl is excellent with Facebook. We found that for different clientele, then that really works. We get a lot of our consultations by doing things on Twitter, and they'll send me messages all the time. For Carl, I know he gets a lot of more serious package deals through Facebook and Instagram. We use that just to gain more followers and send more traffic to the website, because people do like seeing the pictures of people traveling. Anytime we post an article or anything, we have that same ability to push those articles or push new photos directly out to everyone across multiple platforms.
And we do try to integrate as many of our social media platforms into our website, kind of what Vince was talking about as well. So now when we do get blog posts from different people, we will actually put their Instagrams inside of the actual blog post. Like when you're going through and you're reading the articles about what they're writing about, or if you actually want to see further pictures of them and their experiences, you can actually go to the website and access all the information just from one particular place. And just to comment on what Shane said earlier, it is really difficult trying to manage Facebook and Instagram and Twitter all at one time. So what we've actually done is that we actually break it up by weeks and by the level of importance and which content will engage our particular audiences a lot more. And we kind of use that method to decide which platforms we want to focus on each week. to gain the most bang for our buck and in regards to reaching the most people that we possibly can.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. All right, let's jump into Brownsburg. This might take us to the end here. I'll wrap up at noon Eastern. Let's go ahead and go for it.
So, and by the way, as project manager, someone who works with developers, I tend to be a little bit more critical and a little more blunt, but it's all out of love and care. This Brownsburg website, in my opinion, is a great example of too much information being overwhelming. So from a resource and information standpoint, everything, and I mean everything, was there. However, the construction and organization of it was extremely overwhelming, including the design of the website. So one of the first things that just made me cringe was the right sidelet of every event. I mean, every ribbon cutting, because what happens is it pushes the page all the way down, but there isn't more content along with it. So the sidelet creates a long page, but there isn't information along with that long page. So organizing it better creates less white space, as we discussed over and over about how much of an issue that is. And also it just allows you as a user to feel in control. And just for a small segue, it's your website, but you want a user to feel like they have control over it when they get there. You want them to feel that they are able to understand where they need to go, what they need to do at any given point in time. If we go to the home page, you see that there's a speaker 11 to 1. Okay, and then you click to RSVP. But then I see this icon for Brownsburg Fire Territory Building. Is that the same event or something different? It looks like it's a different event to me. And then if you scroll down, I would assume this was just somewhere for event information. But there's a Brownsburg Chamber Performance Mannequin Challenge, Brownsburg Chamber member benefits. So there's just a lot going on all at once. By the way, anyone jump in, because I got a lot on this.
You got it, man.
Well, go for it.
Live and work. It'd have been fantastic to see some visual photos of the community, people doing stuff, people at work, people walking around, having this all this text. I'm not reading it. I just like to see happy faces and people doing stuff, whether it's kids. So this is also an opportunity as a community to put forth your brand. What do you want to be known as? So the pictures sort of emulate that. Here's another thing, events. I think the events page was solid in the information, but the organization, there's too many flyers. I'm not sure what event is with what, and there's just no separation of anything. And then if I go, because I'm nerdy, if I go to chamber events, click on the calendar, there's nothing there. So if I'm a potential business, I don't think the Chamber of Commerce does any events. However, if I go to chamber info, there's a list of events and luncheon and programming. So this is an example of the site not being, as I would say, continual in its goals. So if you're going to have a calendar of chamber events and it's empty, but if I go to a next page, this is where all the events is, we didn't make that connection. So these are just a few things that I think that organizing and doing these steps, you have a far greater experience as someone coming to the website than you do otherwise. I had another thing too, and one of the reasons this is important too. Having links is great, but if your quick links or your resource links aren't doing what they should, it creates a big problem. So actually, I'm going to go back to the home page. If you go to the quick links and it talks about lodging, travel, I click once on the link. Okay, restaurants. Now I got to click again on another link.
I can't even find where the lodging travel is. Where's that out on this page?
If you click
It says on the homepage.
if you click Visit Brownberg, it's on the right-hand side with quick links.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Visit Brown.
Okay, visit.
And so it takes me 2 to 3 clicks on the quick links to get to what I'm actually wanting to know. One actual major great compliment I do have, though, is when you do that and you go to the business and you get to the ultimate business that you want. Brownsburg has a platform that they use called WebLink Local that allows you to send an email directly to that business. And the subject line is a referral from Brownsburg Chamber of Commerce. And so what that's doing is showing you as a business who's coming in through your membership of the Chamber of Commerce. And as a Brownsburg community, that allows you to tell businesses that you're there with them and you're trying to promote them and send people that their way. So I thought that was a really cool feature. But I think this Brownsburg website overall just needs some major overhaul in terms of organization. And that's my spiel.
So one last thing to add to that list, and then I'll give you the silver lining. Hopefully you're still watching after all that. But with this WebLink Local, I agree. It's very powerful. It looks like it'd be very powerful. But if I was the average user and I got to this page right here, I'd be lost. Even as us critiquing it, I got to this and I'm like, where is he clicking? Like I was listening to Andrew talk. I'm like, I don't want to click on that. And then I realized that this is where I click up here. So hopefully you have the ability to edit this because it could be very powerful to show you're getting those referrals. But yeah, I would have been lost. The silver lining though is most clients we've ever worked with, the number one issue is they don't have enough content. You've got it.
Oh, yeah,
you
absolutely.
have so much content on this site. You can do amazing things. It just needs to be tweaked. Some of the things Andrew mentioned, he was spot on. But you have the content, and that's the hardest part by far, which is a good thing. But one thing I would say, and you could go do this right now, is take a smartphone. Hopefully you have a modern phone from the last year, 2 years, I'd say. Turn it sideways and take a new picture of the sign because it'd be a beautiful picture, but it's not a very high quality photo right now. And that would make a huge difference on top of the things that Andrew had mentioned. But I'll let anyone else speak to it. We also had a question that I want to get to before we shut down. But I'll let you guys go ahead and if anyone else has feedback on the site before we go to that.
Yeah, I think Andrew did a great job of covering most of the things that need to be
Absolutely. And is it mobile friendly? I haven't checked.
Yes, it is. It's very. It's also a lot. It's a lot on the mobile site as well.
Yes, it is mobile friendly,
Exactly.
but
So
it
imagine
seems to be
50%
like
of your users are scrolling on their phone. How much scrolling are they going to do? So
Yeah. Just keep going and going and going and going.
well, from what I see is that it is mobile friendly, but there's a lot of text there. I don't see any pictures on the site though. It's mainly like a text-based mobile site, and I
who's
noticed
got
that
that
it's also
question?
not mobile responsive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but other than that, Andrew pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. All right. So if there's no more on that, Mark had a question. I'm looking for a secure employee portal used mostly on mobile devices. Any examples? So it's a very specific question. I definitely want to dig deeper after the webinar. But I think it is an opportunity for us to talk about our favorite platform, which is the WordPress platform for building websites. And we use WordPress because it has the ability of jumping in and plugging.
I think Vince just cut out.
Have different features.
Vincent,
Oh, did you lose me?
yes, can you repeat it?
Yeah. Okay. So we use the WordPress platform because it allows you to install plugins, many of which are free, some of which you have to pay for, that can help make a site, add features to a site pretty easily. So we've used WordPress for most of our sites in the last couple of years. And I have seen a few employee portals that might fit what you need, but I definitely want to talk to you offline specifically. I don't know if anyone else here has any that come to mind, but it really depends on your needs. Any of you guys use employee portals? No.
I've built a few membership sites before, which is essentially the same concept. So it's not not necessarily something that's too specialized. It would just be a matter of finding the right plugin that would actually keep it secure and still be mobile responsive.
Sure. One thing that comes to mind if you are using WordPress is the BuddyPress plugin. It's a very popular plugin. It might not be exactly what you need because you did say secure, so I don't know what information you're trying to pass through there. But that is password protected for all of your employees, all your members, but it might not be what you need. But again, I'll shoot you an email if you want to contact us before that. We can talk more specifically. But if I don't see any more questions coming in, I don't see any coming in right now. So I want to thank, first of all, the group of 5 people here joining me from literally across the world. It was surprisingly easy to get this organized, although the time zones definitely made some of us struggle. But I definitely want to thank them all. Let everyone say anything if you'd like, and give Patrick and Carl an opportunity to pitch CP Travels one more time. cptravels.com for those of you viewing. Definitely get on there. But yeah, so if anyone has anything to say, if not, Carl and Patrick, do your thing.
Thanks for the time, everybody, and I appreciate you allowing us to go over some websites. It helps us to get our tools in terms of talking to clients better, and we just appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you very much to distinctweb.design for having us on. I know we've had a website for about 3 years, and Patrick handles most of our technical things with the website, but we do have a lot of experience with Facebook ads and using Instagram and several different social media platforms to reach out our very big audience that we're continuously trying to grow. This year for CP Travels is our Pay It Forward travel initiative. And this year we are raising money for 2 very important and 2 very special charities that we believe in very deeply. The first one is the B Foundation, which is geared toward raising awareness for brain aneurysm research. My mother herself has suffered 2 brain aneurysms, but she has survived both of them. So throughout the course of the year, through all the trips that we're planning, through our Pay It Forward initiative, we'll be visiting 10 different countries and 10 different locations and raising awareness for brain aneurysm research and collecting funds from people all over the world to donate to the B Foundation. Second charity that we are working for and working with throughout our Pay It Forward experience, I'll let Patrick introduce really quickly.
So the second place that we're donating money to through this travel initiative is through the Lupus Foundation of America. My mother, she has lupus. She's been diagnosed since my sophomore year of high school. So it's something I'm really, really passionate about and something I'm trying to raise money for and awareness for, because I know it's something that affects quite a few people. But again, once it hits near and dear to your home, then it's something that you take a bit more care about. Through our travel initiative, not only are we trying to raise money, but honestly, we're trying to get people out of the country. We're trying to get them out. We're trying to help them explore the world, and we're trying to make it much, much easier for you. There's a lot of things to do, so we want to make sure that everyone has access to all of those things. Travel does not have to be this crazy expensive thing that you think it is. It's actually pretty affordable if you know how to do it, and it's a lot of fun.
So again, a big thank you to distinctweb.design for having us on today. And if we can be of a resource to anyone through anything, not just travel related, we're more than happy to help out any way that we can.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And thank you all for joining, those of you that were here live. And if you need anything as far as your website go, if you need us to help you partner up with Jacob to do some Facebook advertising or Ayon to do some design work, we're here to help. You can reach us at distinctweb.design. And yeah, feel free to reach out.
Great.
Well, thank you all. I'm going to end this now. I don't know what's going to happen here. So if I don't see you all, thank you again.
All right. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.